Our deposit, even at this early stage, stands at the largest and most advanced uranium deposit in Argentina. So I think we're very well set up to become Argentina's first domestic supplier of uranium. And then we would be in a position, as we grow and we identify more resources, we'd be in a position to be a net exporter after that.
Hello to viewers tuning into this edition of Assay TV. I'm hosting Nikolaos Cacos, President and CEO of Blue Sky Uranium. And Blue Sky are, of course, an exploration company with significant assets across Argentina. Nico, welcome back.
Oh, thank you for having me, Adam. Great to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for taking time to chat with Assay TV. So last big news announcement from Blue Sky Uranium was around some excellent results from the Ivana deposit drilling program. Could you take us through some of the results that you've been experiencing and where you're at within this drill program in Argentina?
Absolutely. We put out some news on all the results basically for the Ivana deposit, our uranium-vanadium deposit that we have in southern Argentina. And what the results we've already identified there, just under 23 million pounds of uranium and 11.5 million pounds of vanadium. And then we embarked earlier this year on a drill program with a twofold objective. Yeah. Objective number one was to basically go in and drill in between previous drill holes so that we could tighten the drill holes tighten the deposit, basically increase both the quality and the confidence we have in the resource that we've already published. Yeah. And the second objective was to see if we could begin stepping out from the deposit to see if there's potential for expansion. And what the results that we announced indicate that we have been successful in both objectives. So yes, the deposit holds together, and we're beginning now to embark on a new resource calculation so that we can up the quality of the resource to go from inferred to indicated, which gives one much more confidence in the deposit that it's there. And the second thing is that we made some drill holes that step out up to 1,500 meters, 1.5 kilometers outside of the deposit, and we hit some new uranium-vanadium mineralized zones. So this is looking like it's expanding, plus some of the results that we got back. We got some more elevated vanadium values, so that's going to contribute to some additional. So it looks like the deposit is going to grow, and we're going to have more on that published probably early Q1 of 2023. Yeah. Now, it's important to note that the Ivana deposit sits at the southern end of an enormous uranium-vanadium trend. In fact, an entire district, which we own 100%. It's over 145 kilometers in length and a 50-kilometer wide corridor. It's absolutely enormous. And our objectives here on a larger scale is to see, fine, we've got our anchor deposit right now, which is a world-class deposit. And we've also identified a number of targets within a 30-kilometer radius. And the objective here is to explore, drill, test these targets out, and to see if we can uncover new uranium mineralization that we could potentially operate as one operation. So this whole, and we're excited about this because the geological characteristics of the Ivana deposit and the whole region is very similar to some of the world's largest and lowest cost producing districts in the world, like those that we see in Kazakhstan.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, it's really strategic for Argentina here. If you think about the potential of developing this and then the clean energy transition that we're all trying to, but perhaps globally struggling to achieve. How well positioned is this with the Argentinian sort of government? And then is the plan to export, or is it going to be domestic development, or a bit of both?
Yeah, no, you've touched on a number of very good points there. most investors are not aware that Argentina is a nuclear country. It's a country with a very well-developed, a very advanced and sophisticated nuclear energy program. They have nuclear reactors, but beyond that, there's pilot enrichment plants, research reactors. They've been in the nuclear game basically since the early 50s, almost as long as the US and the UK have. So and while they're involved in every facet of the nuclear cycle, what they do not have is uranium, which is the fuel for nuclear energy, and they're having to import that. Right. So our deposit, even at this early stage, stands at the largest and most advanced uranium deposit in Argentina. So I think we're very well set up to become Argentina's first domestic supplier of uranium. And then we would be in a position, as we grow and we identify more resources, we'd be in a position to be a net exporter after that. And there is a demand, and you touched on the clean energy bit. There definitely is a demand for uranium and nuclear energy worldwide. In fact, just today, the United Nations agency confirmed that the demand for the amount of nuclear energy that's going to be used to generate electricity is projected to grow tremendously, because it's carbon-free essentially, and it's safe and reliable source of baseload energy, which both solar and wind cannot provide at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting, you know, we don't want to sort of look at crystal balls for uranium price, but we're certainly feeling the bull market gather some momentum. And I guess as a sort of explorer, you're not focusing on that too much, but your timing is quite right in terms of what's this incentive price that everyone sort of works towards. And as well, I don't know if you have a comment on the state of
of course. I mean, yes, we have been seeing the price of uranium rise because keep in mind that the size of the uranium commodity market is relatively small compared to other commodities. Yes. So it doesn't take a lot of demand to exacerbate a price increase. We've seen it over just the last few years go from under $20 now to hovering around $50 a pound, and that's projected to continue to grow. And what's driving that, again, is the demand for nuclear energy. It's become much more accepted today, and there are nuclear reactors that are being built around the world. So this is a very positive backdrop for us. And the second thing, the way it affects us is that we're in a great position, because if we make the decision to proceed towards production, it'll be relatively quick for Blue Sky because of the country that we're in Argentina. In Argentina, being a nuclear country, all the regulations, all the laws for handling radioactive materials are already in place. All the protocols are there. So we just need to abide by them. And so what we do now is we appraise both the federal, the provincial authorities. They all know what we're doing, and we're working in tandem to ensure that we keep an open and transparent way of operating.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. Okay, so look, it's just coming back into the project here and focusing in again. So you've got quite an interesting strategy in that you're scaling out, but you're also improving the drill results within the resource. You're going to sort of announce a new indicated resource in Q1. What do you need to get there in terms of the catalyst for this program, and are you financed to do that, to get to that resource for all this rounds of drilling that are coming up?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting ready to drill some additional targets here. We've got a resource calculation, and all of this is then eventually to put a bow on it, basically, and proceed towards a pre-feasibility study, which is an economic study, after which a production decision is made. We've already completed a couple of years ago preliminary economic analysis. It's a much more crude analysis, but it does give us an indicator, and it indicated at that time that we could produce uranium at just over $16 a pound. So basically ranking us as one of the amongst the lowest cost producers in the world. This is really what's quite exciting about this project. So as we proceed and we uncover more uranium, presumably, and we can keep the costs around that area, that level, I think it'll be even more, the economics will begin to look even more favorable at that time.
Excellent. So this is clearly a great uranium story, but what about the vanadium? It's a nice to have. Are you going to be piling that and offloading it? How does it play into the strategy as you race ahead developing the uranium aspects?
Well, the vanadium is interesting because it doesn't cost us anything more to bring out the vanadium.
Sure.
The process, the two-step process that we go through to extract the uranium, which is really low cost, simple, and extremely environmental friendly, also precipitates the vanadium. And the vanadium, there's a real market for that. It's a battery metal it's used for energy storage, very similar to the way lithium is, but for much larger storage of electricity. However, the primary use of vanadium is as a steel hardener.
Yeah.
And its price contributes probably around 10% to the overall value of our deposit. And there is a market for that, in fact, in Argentina, as Argentina imports all its vanadium. Okay. Argentina, as you may be aware, has a bustling oil and gas industry, and they manufacture their own steel pipelines, and those pipelines require vanadium. Right. Since they import vanadium, we would have a ready domestic market to supply that vanadium as well.
Excellent. And I guess that domestic market leaves you less exposed to the sort of price volatility of vanadium. It's quite a unique metal in that it's very up and down if you look at that price chart.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes.
Okay. Just coming more broadly then to the capabilities, for investors looking at this company, you've got Grosso Group. You've got a history of the success across Latin America. Could you just provide some insight to the sort of power that Grosso Group can bring to bear over Blue Sky?
Well, Grosso Group is basically the management team behind Blue Sky Uranium. And Grosso Group are pioneers in mining exploration, mineral exploration in Argentina. The group has been active there since the early 90s when mining first opened up, and has been key in assisting the governments of Argentina to put together a mining code, a mining law, and regulations and so forth. Joe Grosso, the founder of Grosso Group, is been inducted into Argentina's Mining Hall of Fame. He's been Explorer of the Year, extremely well connected. So we have a long history in Argentina, excessive contacts throughout governments and locals in the industry and so forth. And this truly gives us a competitive advantage. I feel like with the team that we've put together, it's what allows us to maneuver and to pay close attention, have a good ear for what the locals are, to ensure that we have a social license to execute on our work programs, to be able to move a program forward, and also to communicate effectively with all the levels of governments and regulatory authorities to ensure that our permits come on a timely basis and that we're able to move this project along. So by all means, the Grosso Group is, they have a long history of success in Argentina. It's a highly respected organization, and being behind Blue Sky with uranium, I think it's what's allowing us to unlock the value here.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So just to summarize for investors looking ahead to Q1 and that redefinition of the resource, what are some of the key milestones they can expect to hear from the news flow until then?
Well, from a news flow, there's a couple of really key points that are going to happen. Number one, of course, like I stated earlier, we're moving towards updating the resource calculation. So that will be exciting to hear in the first quarter. The second thing is, as we're exploring, doing drilling in the area, have a drill program that's ongoing right now. We expect that drill program to wrap up sometime just after Christmas time. So any success of some new mineralization and new discoveries of additional resources, I think will have a really inflective effect our valuation of the company. I think this is a really key moment
Yeah.
for Blue Sky, and I think the catalyst is if we can find and demonstrate that there are additional uranium resources within this area, I think the value of Blue Sky will change dramatically. I think that's the real key. That's the real excitement here and the play for investors.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Nico, thanks very much for taking time to outline the project and some of the drivers behind this project. It's great to hear, and we look forward to catching up on how you're progressing with those next steps.
No, thank you, Adam. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.